So good evening and welcome to a school called The Universe, Part 2. And tonight doesn't follow the exact sequence of the book, but I've just taken all the frequently asked questions that I've answered in the various chapters of the book, and we'll just go through them in sequence. Now, what I'm about to share with you tonight is all factual about the dream, but it's not true in God's absolute reality. But these are the questions that come up when people embark on a spiritual quest. What is the soul? Where do I come from? Why am I here? Those typical questions. And so I will answer them from a non-dual perspective, but bearing in mind that although it's factual in the dream, it is not true in absolute reality. And these are the subjects that become stories and legends, and they take us down a path where we seek but do not find. But nevertheless, it'll get rid of a lot of the questions people have. And inevitably, I will answer them in a non-dual way. And so sometimes I'll give an answer and you'll see the next question comes up. It's almost been answered in the prior answer, but I'll pose the question anyway to share with you what is frequently asked um, in the world of spirituality. So I've broken it up into sections and I'll just tackle them one by one. So obviously the first one is God and the creation. So what and where is God? First of all, God is not a being. God is beingness or pure energy ever extending. And that energy is pure light, not the artificial light of the sun, because that's artificial light, but pure light. And the closest we get to it is just imagine white light ever extending. And light is also synonymous with the word love, unconditional being, ever extending, unconditional love. That's God or God's mind, ever extending, and mind and spirit is one and the same. So what is God? God is pure love. God is pure energy, pure love ever extending, infinite light, infinite love, infinite source. And where is God? Everywhere. There's nowhere God is not. What is all encompassing has no opposite. There's nothing outside God. Nothing. Nothing exists outside God. God is all there is. Another question that gets frequently asked is, did God create the universe and then put us here? No, God did not create the universe. God has nothing to do with the universe. The universe, what we know about the universe is simply the activities of our dreaming mind. Now, our mind is asleep. A part of our mind is awake. The part that dreams up the universe. The universe is the contents of our dreaming mind. Contents are thoughts that appear to have taken form, appear to be in space and time, but yet the entire universe is dream. The whole thing is a dream. It's the dream of our dreaming mind, including our bodies, which we've localized. So the dreamer has localized himself in the activities of his dream. So is the universe God's dream? No, I know where they get that from. Many Advaita Vedanta non-dual schools say God is dreaming. Why would God dream? Why would God fall asleep in order to remember himself? Is it like he's a silly bugger and he's got nothing better to do, falls asleep and tries to figure himself out? It's a nice idea, but no, God is not dreaming. God is pure light, ever extending. To use storytelling and analogy to try and put it into context, because the God that can be named is not the eternal God. Imagine God is pure light, ever extending. Light is made from light particles, little cells of light ever extending. A singular cell fell asleep. The particles of light ever extending are the extensions of God. The extensions of God are known as the sons of God. One son of God fell asleep and dreamt up the universe. Okay? So God did not create the universe. God has nothing to do with the universe. Who created the universe? The universe is the activity, the making of a dream in the Son of God's dreaming mind. If God was dreaming, what or who would wake God up if God is all there is? If God was dreaming, then a part of God must be fallen. And if God, a part of God is fallen, then a part of God that's fallen is real. God is not fallen. God is not evil. God is not asleep. Okay, that's just storytelling. Why did God let this happen? God didn't let anything happen. God gives his son free will to extend. In the extension of himself, God's son, storytelling now, another analogy, chose to think about what is the opposite of this, and what is the opposite of what's all encompassing? Nothing. So when the Son of God imagined what is the opposite of what's all encompassing, he dreamt of nothing. The opposite of all encompassing is nothing. So he dreamt of darkness. It's an analogy. So if God is light, the dream is darkness. And in the darkness, he was asleep, no activity. But God couldn't let a part of himself, his son, stay asleep. So God called unto himself. In the dream, God's son is asleep, pure darkness. The call from God is seen as light entering the dream. As the sun focuses on the light, boom, big bang. So now the dream, the return to awakening is the beginning of the universe, and the extension of the universe 16 billion years later is the sun desperately trying to find a way to return to awakening or stay asleep. There's a part of the sun that wants to awaken. There's a part of the sun that wants to remain asleep because it fears this idea of a God of vengeance. Not true. So God didn't let it happen. God allows his son to extend, and free will. Free will is to extend willingly the love of God we are. That's what true free will is, to awakenly and knowingly share the love you are. And then we got silly. We asked a silly question. What's the opposite of this amazing, joyful, blissful, peaceful light that we're extending? Is there an opposite? And so we imagined what it could be. Of course, there's many stories that the Son of God wanted to be special, and he wanted to be different, and he wanted God to treat him differently. That's storytelling. Don't buy into those silly little myths. It's just energy, and there was a little bit of a rapture in that energy called the sun, and in that little rapture, he fell asleep and dreamt of nothing. It's all actually already over. We're just recalling it from a place of where we've ended the whole thing, but we haven't forgiven ourselves for dreaming. That's why the universe still seems to appear, and why we still seem to appear here. Next question is, why are we here in physical form? Well, physicality is just spirit energy slowing its vibration down to such an extent that it appears to be trapped in space, time, and matter. Nothing really matters, and there is no space and there is no time. There's only now, here, forever, eternity, God's love forever extending. But while we dream, it appears that we are in time, going through a recycling process, living life after life, life in between life. But the reality is that's just the activity of a dream. Every night you go to sleep, you dream. Every morning you wake up in the exact same place. Nothing's changed. You didn't stop breathing just because you weren't aware that you were dreaming. You find yourself localized in your dream. There were other people in your dream. All those characters, all those activities and places that you traveled to in your dream, they're all in your mind. And yet you think of yourself as a localized character in your dream. When you wake up in the morning, you think of yourself as a localized character in your universal dream. As above, so below. You dream every day. That's why we have to dream every night, so that we can at some stage start to realize as above, so below, the pattern. Is the world and the universe an illusion? And if so, what then is reality? So the world is an illusion, but remember that it's like a movie on a screen, okay? What appears and disappears on the screen is illusion. The screen is awareness, is the activity of our mind. And the screen is actually pure white, pure blank, pure light, in which characters appear and disappear. So the essence of us is real, but what appears is illusion. If so, then what is true reality? True reality is light ever extending, the absolute ever extending, eternity forever here now. And the closest we get to even conceptualize or comprehend it is just imagine the deepest sense of joyous peace, forever extending. You want for nothing. You are everything. There's equality everywhere, completely safe, completely peaceful, completely joyous. And the essence of what you are is God's essence. And there's no loneliness, there's no sadness, there's no fear, there's no guilt, there's no death. There's just the joyous extension of love, and you are love itself. Then this question also pops up every now and again. Are there other universes? So let's say there were. How's that going to change your life? Do you hope that in some parallel universe you're having a better life? Well, how's it going to change your current life? No, there's one sun dreaming. So there's only one absolute reality, God's reality, and there's only one selective reality. And that selective reality is this universe. Are there other universes? We don't even know where the edge of this universe is. Why do we care about other universes? It's again just diverting attention from what's important. Be here now. Whereas heaven's not a place. Heaven's a state of awareness. Heaven is knowing thyself as the pure extension of God's love. Whereas heaven everywhere, we've never left, but we're dreaming. So it's like saying, where's my bedroom while you dream at night? You sleep in your bed saying, where's my bedroom? Will I find my bedroom? Will I return to heaven? No, you've never left your bedroom. You're still in your bed dreaming at night that you're off some other place. You're dreaming you're walking in the streets of Johannesburg and there's a giraffe chasing you. You're still in your bedroom. You're still there. You've never left God's kingdom. You've never left heaven. Heaven is just the extension of God. You are heaven. You are that in which God abides. God abides in heaven. Heaven is the extension of himself. Is there a hell? No, not unless you get married. There's no such thing as hell. Again, hell is an experience, a state of mind. So the closest thing you'll ever get to hell is this world of separation. The idea of separation, the idea that you can't remember your true self and therefore you cannot remember God, that's hell. Forgetting your car keys is hell, right? So forgetting what you are and forgetting God is hell. It's forgetting. Forgetting is hell. Remembering is heaven, because you remember what? Where you are, what you are. Okay, will there ever be peace on earth for a gazillionth of a second? And then God takes the final step and brings us home. This is a plane where we come, a plane of duality, where we come to remember what we are through the experience of what we're not. By getting to a place of saying, enough already, we turn inwards. And we all have to get to that place where we have to go through that dark night of the soul, or the fifth stage in the development of trust, where we go, there has to be a better way. And the only way, and we hate this idea, we have to surrender. Because surrender to humans means defeat. And yet you're not defeating, you're aligning. Surrender means to align with thy will be done, to will God's will. Will there ever be peace on earth? For a billionth of a second, and then it will all just dissolve and we'll return knowingly to the Holy Son of God we are. Extension of light, extension of love. Okay, the next little section is on spirits and souls and special types of A-type souls. Okay, so how was a soul created or born, and does a soul have a lifespan? So very often people speak of souls as if it's an entity. Now, in the non-dual language, we speak of spirit. Now, God is spirit, so it's pure energy. Spirit is pure energy. The Son of God, which is the extension of that energy, the extension of that spirit, is spirit too. God is holy. The extension of God is Holy Spirit. So the Son is made from the self-same essence as God, and therefore the Son of God, the extension of God, is Holy Spirit. When the Son fell asleep, a part of his mind remembers himself. That part we call the Christ mind, the awake mind, the anointed mind. The part that dreams we call ego mind, dreaming mind. The part that's awake is pure spirit, Holy Spirit, retains I use the word memory of God, but it's not memory because memory means past, but it retains the present moment awareness of God. But in the dream, we seem to have forgotten. When we abide in silent stillness, we abide in presence, and the knowing comes. The knowing, the memory, the present moment awareness, the Holy Spirit, memory, present moment awareness. Was a soul created? A soul was created. The soul is the sonship of God, forever extending his light. But now we're speaking about souls. When this question gets asked, souls on this planet or souls inside a body, which is an illusion. Not true. It's a falsity. Okay. So when the dreamer fell asleep, remember, sons of God, thoughts in God's mind, thoughts of love in God's mind. When the dreamer, when the Son of God fell asleep, the thoughts in his mind took formless form. So thought forms. So as the dreamer fell asleep, and I'm going to explain that in the next episode, how he split. He split from 1 into 2 into 12 into 144,000 and so forth. He kept splitting. Now, with every split, it's a thought about a thought about a thought about a thought. It's like you have a thought of a forest. Next thought, you have a thought of trees. Next thought, you have a thought of trees and blue sky, a thought of a path, a thought of a fountain. These are thoughts within thoughts within thoughts. These are fractures of ourselves. So the Son of God, Spirit, asleep, then fractures 1 into 2, 12, and so forth. And so are they born? They thought up. So these are spirit thought forms being made by the dreaming mind. Now, remember, the dreaming mind is only one half of the mind. And so within the dreaming mind, there's also the memory, the present moment awareness of our true self as the extension of God. So every time the dreamer imagined an idea about himself, he fractured himself. What could I be? Could I be this? Could I be that? Could I be this? Could I be that? And every thought is now taking form. Unbeknownst to every thought taking form, within each form, which within each spirit, is the present moment awareness, memory of God, soul. So soul is the present moment awareness of God in each fracture of spirit. So spirit being the vessel, soul being the memory, the energizing spark, that which animates spirit. And so soul means shared being. Soul retains the present moment awareness of being God. So the I am in all of us is our soul. It's our shared being, true being with God. Spirit is our illusion about ourselves. When spirit projects into form, it takes shape, body, minds. So spirit is a billion of 9 septillion appearance. Soul is one individual, identical. So what's happening is the evolution of spirit is dissolving and returning to soul, which returns to itself, Christ mind. Soul, present moment memory, or Holy Spirit. So the soul contains the memory of God, or the present moment awareness of God. Memory in the dream, present moment awareness and right-mindedness. So what is the difference between a soul and a spirit? Another very common question. Imagine a cigar-shaped energy form, spirit. Within it is the memory of God, soul. Every soul throughout the universe, identical. All spirits look different. They seem to be different. Okay, and every spirit is just a fractured thought form in the dream, which then eventually takes physical form and appears as a human being. Very common question is, why would a spirit or a soul choose to leave heaven? It goes back to the idea of separation. It didn't choose to leave heaven. It just wanted to know what was the opposite of what's all encompassing. It's just like a 5-year-old. You tell him not to put his hand on the hot plate, but he wants to know what it feels like to get closer and closer to the heat. And if you don't take his hand away, he's going to burn himself. Okay. Notice I've said he, little girls don't do that. Little boys do that. They'll go and burn themselves, even though mommy said don't do that. And so even though father says don't mess it up, just keep extending. There is no opposite to what's all encompassing. What do we do? Oh, let's just try and imagine something for ourselves. Now, in a book like A Course in Miracles, they say we wanted to be different. It's a story. We just wanted to know.
What is the opposite of what's all? It's a complete innocent mistake. That's it. We just wanted to play with energy. We wanted to see. We wanted to know because it's curiosity, just like a 5-year-old child. Just okay. It's a simple, innocent little miscreation. Then a question I often get asked often is what would our soul, if our soul is one shared indivisible being, what would our soul want the spirit or ourselves to know? It's a commonly asked question. You know, if I, and you hear that in a lot of NDEs, people cross over, oh, my soul wants me to know this. What does it want to know? It wants you to know you're the Holy Son of God. You just but dream a dream that never happened in true reality. You but travel in dreams to a place you've never left, through a time that doesn't exist, only to remember that which you are. So a soul, present moment awareness or memory of God, wants you to be yourself, Holy Son of God, knowingly. He wants us, if in this world, every single human being, imagine just in this world, if every single human being recognized that everyone's soul, that which animates us and gives us all life, everyone's soul is a shared being with God, would we ever harm anyone ever again? Of course not, because we know that to harm you is to harm me. To offer is to receive, to give is to receive, to share is to extend is to love is to be yourself knowingly. So that's it. And that will start alluding to why we choose to come to this planet. Okay. Then we get this question very often. Am I an old soul? Am I a young soul? That's just a young soul. That's why I'm such an idiot. That one's not a young soul. That one's an arse soul. And what's the difference? What's the difference between a young soul, a mature soul, an advanced soul, or a master soul, or a ascended master? Soul's identical. So you have to then change that question. What's the difference between a young spirit and an old spirit or an advanced spirit? It's how far they've come into recognizing that the essence of them, soul, is all that's true. And soul is our self, our shared self, our holy self with God. Are there souls at different levels? In the appearance of space-time, in the dream, it appears to be so. Fractures of our one dreaming mind appearing at different layers of levels. In truth, there's no level. There's only infinite extension. God's Holy Son, infinitely extended. So in the dream, there appears to be different levels. And when we get into spirit form roles and how the planning happens, I'll explain how different levels of souls seem to have different influences over our incarnations. Okay. And then a very frequently asked question, does each one of us have a perfect soulmate? Not as in a perfect special love relationship, except every special love relationship is perfect for you, especially the ones that give you most hell, because you only realize what you are through the acceptance of what you're not. And 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 more importantly, as you learn to see everyone as Christ, in other words, as love recognizing love, everyone's going to drive you insane. But do you have one perfect soulmate where you get together in special love and it's just amazing? It's like the You Complete Me movies, which is You Complete Me is the biggest lie ever told. No one can complete you. You are complete. There's no two halves joining to become one, because if there's two halves, man, if they split, then again, you're half the person you used to be, trying to be twice the person you think you should be. No, there's no such thing as a perfect soulmate. Yes, there is a perfect mighty companion for every lifetime. In actual fact, everyone is your perfect mighty companion if you choose to see them that way. But if you want to turn everybody into an enemy, that's what they'll reflect back at you. But your true soul mate is God. That's it. That's all there is. When you are complete in your understanding and clarity of what you are as the extension of God's love, what else would you want for but to be yourself knowingly as the love of God? Okay. I hope that clarifies a little bit. But you want to know if you're going to meet the perfect person in your life. If you're perfect, yes, because you're going to meet a mirror. So if you're not perfect, if you think someone's going to complete the parts of you that are imperfect and you're going to complete the parts of them that's imperfect, do you really want to change? And do you think anyone else wants to? No. Okay, and then let's talk about reincarnation. And what's the difference between incarnation and reincarnation? So incarnation is boom, big bang universe, incarnate. took form. The dream appeared to take space, time, matter, form. Reincarnate is no form lasts forever. Why? Because the dreamer's attention can't be everywhere at the same time. And so he takes attention off something and things seem to fade, age, rust, die. Return, recycle, re-energize, reproject. So reincarnation is the reprojection of a thought form that takes the appearance of physical form, then returns to spirit form, physical form, spirit form, physical form. And we get trapped in the reincarnation cycle. What is the purpose of life on the physical plane, on this plane? It's to recognize I am pure spirit. I am not this. I am free. I am still as God created me. To identify only with spirit. Forget body, mind. The illusion. The new age illusion. Body, mind, spirit. I am pure spirit. Spirit abides in God. God abides in my spirit. One indivisible self. I am not this. And so through the neti, I'm not this. Positive deduction. I'm not this. I'm not that. I'm not this. I'm not that. I must be. Inquire again. Self-inquiry. The direct path. So what's the purpose of us projecting into physical form? To recognize what we are, to recognize our shared being, to recognize love is all there is, God is all there is, and that we but dream a dream that never happened in true reality. Are there other planes that we incarnate in? Thousands, 1,728 similar to Earth, where we even look like human beings on those planes, and then thousands of others, and I give the breakdown in my book and to how many planes of existence that we take physical form as sentient beings. Don't worry about that. Be here now. Be present. Forget about what you could have been or what you were, whether you've come from the Pleiades. You all come from God. That's it. That's all you need to know. You're the extension of God. Return to that knowingly. Forget about the Palladians and those star systems, and you once had wings and you could fly, and fairy dust and unicorn. What does it help you now? Be yourself now, knowingly. Be the peace that you want to be. Offer the peace you want. Offer the love you want. Offer the joy you want, and be that knowingly. What is the relationship? I've already sort of jumped that one. What is the relationship between body, mind, spirit? And can we triangulate, and can we find balance between body, mind, spirit in this world? No, there's no such thing as balance. The minute there's balance, you stop moving. The minute you stop moving, you're dead. So the only time you find balance is the moment as you die in this physical form. Of course, spirit never dies. Focus purely on spirit, all else comes. You want to heal the body, heal the body. You want to fix the body, focus on spirit. Then the body doesn't matter. What do you care then? It heals naturally. If it should, we're all going to die anyway, because it's meant to be temporal. If we lived for thousands of years, we wouldn't take this life seriously, and we'd squander half of those 1,000 just messing around. So thank goodness for 100 years on average. That's more than enough to get to the realization. Now that you realize you but dream a dream that never happened, you're not going to reincarnate again. Just the simple recognition that you are dreaming is enough for this thought form to dissolve and return to Christ mind. That's it. Then very often, this is a, where these questions come from, because they come from people who suffer some form of ism, some form of discrimination. So they say things like, do we incarnate voluntarily? Did I have a choice on the body I chose? Does anyone get forced here against their will? Does the soul choose to incarnate, or is he forced to incarnate? And can we choose our lives? Can we choose our bodies? Can we choose our parents? It's a pretty obvious question. If the script is written, the whole script's written. So there's over time, there's apparent plays playing out. So you lived in that time period. Let's just take a recent time period. So you lived in that time period. Okay, let's say that's 1900, and you died, and you came back in 1930. Now in 1930, there's going to be a whole lot of roles playing. There's more people on this earth. So you get to choose one that then fits in with the timeline that you're playing. So as a spirit in the spirit world, you get given opportunities, different potential lives that you can play. The themes are identical because it's always returning to self, returning to recognition. But you can choose to be a concert pianist in New York, an architect in South Africa, a musician in Australia, and you're all going to learn the lessons of abandonment, rejection, unworthiness, fear of God, sin, guilt, and returning to self. It's the same thing no matter which way you play. It seems like it. This one could be a billionaire, that one's a pauper. The lessons are identical. We think that if we had more and we were richer and had perfect bodies and the perfect sex and the perfect whatever, we would be happy. No, we wouldn't. Look at anybody in this planet, no matter how much they have, even the billionaires are miserable. Okay, so it's actually just such a wonderful thin veneer disguise that keeps us trapped and looking to improve the formula of reincarnating, that we don't actually look at the root cause of being trapped and fallen asleep and stuck in the reincarnation cycle. Yes, so before we come to Earth, so let's say you've now traveled back to the spirit world after you've died, you've had a successful journey into this world, you've come and learned everything you needed to learn that has brought you closer to recognizing self. You've done really well, and your spirit friends in the spirit world are really happy with you. Do you want to go back? Of course you want to go back. You want to complete it. You want to figure it out. And more importantly, while you're there, members of your spirit group family just seem to disappear. You're very aware of them when they incarnate because you're all in the same awareness space. So you know they've gone on a field trip down to Earth. And by the way, 100 years on Earth in the spirit world feels like 15 minutes, so they don't miss you at all. Okay, you miss them, and off you go on a trip, and then some of them don't return, and you think, oh, in the spirit world, you can't understand why you can't access them again. They're gone. What's happened is those that don't return to the spirit world, that thought has figured out it's not real. It's realized its true self is Christ mind, and so when the body projection of that spirit being dies, spirit doesn't return to spirit world, that thought form dissolves from illusion and becomes a light extending the Christ mind. And so you're curious, you want to go back. And as you've read my book, I was born with memory, so I remember spirit world. I remember my family of 6 beings on the other side like it was yesterday. And I meet people in this world. I know exactly where I've known them from, and I remember the memory like it was yesterday. And don't ask me how it works; it just does. And I remember that in my death at the age of 33, when I returned to spirit world, there were members missing. And when I reawoke in this world, I immediately recognized who those members were and the names that they had on this planet, and they're gone. They no longer exist in the spirit world as separate thought forms. Those thought forms have dissolved, recognizing they're not real, and have joined with the right mind, and they're extending the light of the right mind. Do we incarnate and choose our bodies and our families in this world and our sex, whether we're going to be straight or homosexual? Of course we do, because even in the homosexual dreams, there's the lessons, and there's always a lesson when you're different, always. But it's the different lessons. Ones where you're the oddball and you're the rebel and you don't fit in. Those are the ones that really get you into the deep self-inquiry, even at a young age. So does a spirit being plan its incarnations? Partly so. As I say, you get an opportunity while you're in the spirit world. It'll enter into this like plasma room where there's a big dome in the middle, and you tap into it and you get glimpses of future possible lives, and you go, oh, I'm ready for this one. And is it like a reward? If you've done really well and you've advanced at a certain level, you get a really, really good life of deep and serious suffering. The higher your level of awareness, generally the tougher the life is. Does it mean it's going to be tough until you die? No, it becomes tough until you realize what free will is. When you recognize what free will is and you transcend the buying into being the victim of the world you think you are, and recognizing all of it's you, and therefore you embrace all of it, and you recognize, I could see peace instead of this. I choose to see peace instead of this. I will be peace instead of this. I offer peace instead of this. Right-minded, suffering gone. Okay. So does spirit plan its incarnations to a certain extent. But even the planning is an illusion. You think you're getting to choose that body. It was already scripted. It's the next role. And then you die, you're back, next role. There's a whole lot of stories playing out. And it's all been scripted by the dreaming ego mind, not aware that it comes to an end and desperately trying to delay its ending because then it thinks it's going to die, not recognizing it was never real, and what is real never dies. And then how does our incarnations relate to karma or predestiny? And so if I was really evil in my last time, is that why I'm suffering now? Very often, yes. And you know why? Because you chose it. So let's take a very hard example. Let's say you were a horrible person. You went around beating, hurting, raping. In this lifetime, you could get beaten, raped, and hurt because you want to see what it feels like to be the victim of someone that you once victimized. And so you get to see the opposite side, so you stop doing that. Sometimes you just come to show other people compassion. So you be the victim of the bully, but you show them compassion. The bully's mind can't handle it because you're supposed to be afraid of him, and you just show him unconditional love like Jesus did. So karma is simply what you sow, you reap from a state of understanding. Judge as you judge, so you shall be judged. By whom? By your own judgment. God doesn't judge. God only has one judgment, and that is that you're perfectly innocent and perfect as the day he created you. Okay, so choice, yes. Families, race. Very often, we were the racist in the previous lifetime. We come back and experience racism now. That's the way it works. Then do we have soul and spirit groups? Absolutely. One split into two, into six, into 12, and so the split game. Now, every split became a group. So there's 12 families of spirit beings. And so in each family, there's clusters and groups and subdivisions. And so there's those that gravitate towards each other. And very often you see it in this life, band of brothers, or a family that is incredibly close. They do everything together. The grandfather or great-grandfather, grandfather, father, son, grandchildren, and they all hang together in massive Christmas parties. And generally that happens amongst the younger level awareness souls. Yes, interspersed you may have a more advanced spirit in that group, but very often they're lower vibrational beings. In awareness, that's all it is. That a younger soul is just awareness. In awareness. In essence, we're all identical in truth. Okay. Do spirits incarnate together in groups? Yes, I've answered that. Very often they do. And across different lifetimes, yes. But you can imagine a classroom of, let's say a classroom of 100, and they all have different learning desires. Some are learning slower than others, some are learning faster than others. So what was once a family, sometimes you split off from that family, split off from other family groups and form another group, and then you form another group. And as you ascend, imagine a Christmas tree down below, lots and lots of little leaves. As it gets higher to the top, eventually just one. And that as you reach the very top of a Christmas tree, at the top of the Christmas light, the angel at the top, you realize the whole tree's me. It's all me. Every single fraction of one indivisible self. Are there sacred contracts made between spirits and their spirit families or other spirits? Absolutely. Everything's a sacred contract. So we agree in the spirit world that we're going to come back. You're going to be the enemy, or you're going to be my spouse. You're going to be my husband, my wife. You're going to be my first wife. You're going to be my second wife. You're going to be my third wife. And you're going to be the fourth wife, which finally murders me because I was an ass. So that's how it's going to work. You're going to be my kid in this lifetime. Yes, you were my sister in the last lifetime. You were my father in the previous one. You were my husband in the next one. So it's all, at the end of the day, we're all just making love to ourselves. That's it. It's one indivisible being. Do we have free will in incarnation? Well, the script is written, which means you get a certain amount of predetermined, predestined life themes. Free will is simply choose again to recognize you're not the victim of the world you see, and to remember yourself. So you might be sitting driving your car in traffic, and it's horrible in traffic as far as you go, and you go, fuck this traffic. I can't believe I'm stuck in this again. This is so horrible. Why is this happening to me? Or you can go, oh, wonderful. What a perfect way to use this time in meditation. Phone the boss. I'm going to be late. I'm stuck in traffic. This is what it is. and just use this time to dedicate to God. Be present. This holy instant I give to you, be you in charge, that I may follow you, certain that in your direction I will find peace. Put on the music, sing along, be happy, smile at the guys next to you, smile at the car in front of you, hoot, wave, and free will. Choose to see it anew. Choose to accept what is. Be yourself knowingly. Abide in stillness, in still awareness. Offer gratitude for everything. Choose to see this differently. Choose to see the face of Christ. Know the essence. All of it is soul. I am in all of it. Is the I am in all of us. Is the I am in God. Choose to see it differently. Your body hurts. You're getting old. Your knee hurts. Your back hurts. This hurts. That hurts. This lover's left. This one's gone. You've got no money. You don't know how you make. Abide in God, be grateful. I can now see this a different way. That's your free will. Choose to which teacher you're listening to. Ego mind that says you're a victim of the world and that you're guilty and that you're full of sin and that you're going to be punished and God is vengeful and the world's out to get you, or to realize I dreamt this up, and therefore by choosing to see myself as the Holy Son of God, I see the Holy Son of God everywhere, and therefore I choose to be joyful here. That's free will. The end. There's no more free will. Can you change your life script? You can change how you see it. You can always say there's enough. There's always enough. I'm always in abundance. I have divine providence. I'm always taken care of. Okay. And that everything that happens to me happens for my highest good. Because what's God's will? God's will is that we stop dreaming and return to energy. So if I was to joke, God's will is that the whole universe goes boom and disappears. And we return as spirit to God, spirit, and keep extending. But God's not going to force us to destroy the universe. He's just going to let us say, enough, 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 enough. I seek the kingdom. I seek to know myself above all else. I and my Father are one, and that's my greatest desire, to know myself as the extension of God. That's free will. Okay. When a person dies, can the spirit that has now crossed over to the spirit world communicate with the ones that are stuck on this planet? That's a very often asked question. Yes, of course. But bearing in mind, imagine this. You're sitting in a dinner room with your family in a nice round table, and your kid gets up and goes to the bathroom. Do you miss them? No, they're gone for 5 minutes. They come back. Did you miss them? No, they're still here. Do you want to communicate with your kid when he's in the bathroom? No. Let him go to the bathroom on his own. Let him go on his field trip. If your kid misses you in the bathroom, well, then hurry up. Do the paperwork. Does your kid really miss you? He thinks he does because he's now missing them dinner. Spirit doesn't miss us. We miss it because we feel ourselves lost without them. Now, that's just love. But when you bring them in awareness into yourself, you realize they're a part of you. But then all of it is. The reason you hurt so much when someone dies is they take away your self-image, because you can't imagine self without them. So it's always a selfish reason that you feel pain. I know that sounds hard, but that's a fact. And I'm not here to pull punches. The reason you're so broken because mommy died or your kid died is because you saw yourself as half, not realizing you are complete. If you were truly yourself knowing and realized you're the extension of God, you'll want for nothing, because being and having is identical. Having is being is having. And what are you being and what are you having? It all. The entire kingdom, because you're the extension. You are the kingdom. And so can we learn to communicate with spirit? Yeah, just talk to them. And then be still and recognize you're just talking to part of yourself. But why do you want to talk to a fractured part of yourself when you can have direct communication with Source, God, Holy Spirit? The memory, the present moment awareness of what you are. Yeah, now. Okay. So the other one is, when the body dies, do we choose when we're going to die? We pretty much choose that life. And as a spirit being, we know when it's going to end. But the minute we travel through the projection chamber, projection into physical form, story, the tunnel, as soon as we go through the tunnel, we have amnesia. How come there's some characters that don't have amnesia? It's part of their script, because they generally the messengers that come to bring hope of another dimension. And through the hope of another dimension, spirit world, we start to recognize spirit world is the first dream, the secret dream, which then gets hidden as soon as we project into form. That's why it's secret to us. It's not a secret in the spirit world, but it's a secret to us. Why can't we remember? We choose not to. Why can't we remember past incarnations other than through a regression process? And even in the regression process, it's scripted, is because if we remember our past lives, we then focus on the mistakes we made there as opposed to the recognition now. And then we carry the guilt for how we completely messed up in our previous lives. So we're meant to focus on present moment awareness. Why do you want to remember what you did when you were 5 years old when you should be focusing on what's right in front of you right now? And if that's the case, why do you even care what you did in your previous life? And what does it matter if you were Cleopatra or King Lear or King whoever or the ruler of the world if you're still miserable now? What does it matter how fantastical your previous life was? It's like going to a movie and it was really, really happy, and you're really happy while you're watching the movie. And as soon as you step out of the cinema house, you're really angry again. What was that movie all about when you're angry again? What does it matter looking back on a past life? I mean, I've done 3,000 past life regressions in life between life. People ask me to do them again. I'm not interested. There's no point. Be present here now. Present moment awareness evokes the memory, and that's the prerequisite for the transcendence. That's what you're meant to be doing. Focus on that. What happens when we return to the spirit world? And the people in the NDEs, and they get the tunnel and they see these beings waiting for them. Very often their soul family, and there's generally a higher energy, an angelic energy. We'll talk about that a little later. And they greet us, and then they take us through this blue jello. That's my experience. Blue jello, cleansing, forget the past memories. You remember where you are, soul families. You recognize what you've learned about yourself. You realize you're ascending in levels, but there's still something you can't get to. There's still this sphere of light, and none of us can penetrate it, but it's all around us and it's above us. And there seems to be two spheres, and one seems to be dark and one seems to be light. And some of us come from the dark sphere and some of us come from the light sphere. I know I come from the dark one. The happy, happy, blissful bunny musician type people, the artists, they come from the light one. The gentle ones come from the light one. The grr ones come from the dark one. And we need both. That's the light sphere and the dark sphere is our first split, yin yang. And so those are the two gods of the dream, small g gods of the dream. The masculine, the dark one, the feminine, the light one. It's our split, the Adamu and the Eva. Okay. And from those two came the 12, the archangels, the arcs, the masters of the spirit world. And from each 12 that's split, and so even though they split, there's still a memory of the top one. And what's the very, very, very top? The one that became the two, Christ mind. We can't access it. We can't even access the two spheres while we dream. The yin, the yang, the masculine, the feminine. And I'm aware of the dark one. I mean, I'm aware there's not many course teachers that come from the dark one other than those direct ones, the ones that give it to you direct. There's a guy called Steve that comes to mind and gives it to you direct. Take the Leons of this world, gentle from the light. The Lus just kick you into touch, the dark ones. And yet it's the same. It's not evil and light. No. It's just vibrational frequency, masculine, feminine. That's how it was split. Okay, so, and then we return to our spiritual families. We live in clusters of thousands of souls, and eventually it's like, again, little Christmas trees and spheres, little spirals. And at the bottom, there's 250,000 beings, and eventually there's, 30, and then there's 12, and then there's 6, and then there's 1, and then disappears from the group, and the next one takes the role, and the spheres are all ascending in awareness. And it's amazing, and we seem to have a really joyous time, and there seems to be this beautiful, it sounds like a choir harmonizing. There's no music being played, but harmonized. Beautiful sound of heaven, spirit world. And it's just beautiful love, and there's no dense duality, but there's still a sense of emptiness. There's a sense of something's missing. And we realize something's missing, and the anxiety starts to grow, and then we get a yearning to do it again. And the minute we choose to learn, we get an opportunity, and we go into the planning sphere. And I get asked, what are the Akashic records? It's a concept of the scripts. People want to look into the scripts, look into the future. Let me give you a view of the end of the dream. end of the dream, the end of time as a currency, the end of space as an illusion, the end of the dream, pure light, pure joy. That's it. What else you want to know? What are you going to be in the next lifetime? Don't focus on the next lifetime. The next lifetime may not happen if you awaken to self in this one. It will just dissolve completely, won't exist. Will the dreamer know that that lifetime he dreamt up is dissolved? He won't be aware of it. Dreamer is not aware of right mind. Right mind glimpses and observes, but doesn't touch, doesn't take it seriously. And as soon as you awaken to self, all your future scripts, let's say there were still future scripts in your lifetime incarnations that you could have chosen from. The minute you awaken to self, that timeline goes, whoop, that's it. And you're always here now. The minute it does that, there's an immediate ascension, Christ-mindedness, no more in the dream. And that's why I keep telling people, there's no Jesus character in the dream. The character that was Jesus is a return to right-mindedness and is one with our right mind, Christ's mind, calling us all to be ourselves knowingly. So, I mean, I could talk about the stories of the spirit world and it sounds so fantastic. You're going to want to kill yourself and return there. But no. And then the next question is obviously, is there any form of punishment? Do we get judged for our sins, our mistakes when we return to the spirit world? Yes, we do. And it's quite a hard kick up the ass every time we return to the spirit world. And guess who judges us when we return to the spirit world? Our ex-wives. So I couldn't help that. We judge ourselves. As a man judges, so he's judged. So we get back to our spirit world and we go like, oh, fuck, I could have done it that way. Especially if we kill ourselves. Suicide. Oh, shit. If I only hung in there another 3 days, look what I could have happened. Often, especially past times, past years, suicides were planned in the art of seppuku, samurai. Okay, I've dishonored my family. I should have acted this way, seppuku. Or a soldier kills himself so he doesn't get captured. Those are acts of courage. Those are acts of honor. When a person is depressed, manic depressed, bipolar, seriously suicidal, seriously depressed, and they kill themselves, as soon as they return to spirit world, they go, fucking hell, I wish I'd just called for help. My lesson was call for help, ask for help. Oh, so proud. I lived in my misery. I killed myself. Does he get punished? Yeah, by himself. Fuck it. I wish I had. I mean, I could have had at least another 5,000 ice creams and 2 million cigarettes and ridden a motorcycle for at least another 10 years. Motorcycle riding in the spirit world is just pointless because there's no noise and there's no fuel and fumes. And so you're going to, oh, I wish I had. Remember, most spirits in the spirit world aren't aware of the next right-minded dimension. They think this is it. They think that is home. They just want to ascend to the next level. It's only when you get to the very final levels, the ascended levels, ascended master levels, I hate that word, in the spirit world that you start to realize, the ones down below, they just want to get to the next classroom. Like a 5-year-old, a standard grade 1, he just wants to get a grade 2, grade 3, grade 4. They're not worrying about what I'm going to do when I'm finished school. And those when they finish school and when they do varsity, when they do varsity, get the job. And when they get the job, they want to be the CEO. When they get the CEO, they just want to be quiet and find peace. 5-year-old doesn't want to find peace. 5-year-old wants to find excitement. So not all souls want to find God. They think this is it. They're happy, blissfully unaware. Okay. And so we get back and we realize, holy shit, and there's a whole review. There's these beings, these ascended beings from the higher level, from the 11th and 12th dimension. They come down and they review our lives. And it's so gentle and so kind. Why? Because the higher you ascend in the spirit world dream, remember it's all illusion, but that's the characters dreaming, the more loving we are, the less dualistic we are, the more forgiving they are. And it's those beings, I call them elders because they just seem to be elders, until I became one. And then I realized I was the elder now. I'm now a part of that circle, and I'm now helping others measure their lives and plan their lives. And I went, oh, shit, okay. Oops, maybe I should just go back. And that's what I did in this lifetime. Just came back. But those elders are starting to become aware that they're dream characters. but they choose to stay in the spirit world, realizing until all of us collectively awaken, there's no point in returning to the light, to the right mind. The light is the right mind in the dream. And so there's no punishment. No one punishes you. And so even if you were a horrible person this life, you choose. You could have been the worst person this life. Could have been Hitler. And in the next life you were, let me make it really absurd. So Hitler could have been in the next life, could have been Lady Diana. Fuck it, that's absurd. But there's no logic to it, and there's no punishment. But yeah, little Hitler was a little shit in this lifetime. But even though he was incredibly disgusting, he also created great opportunities for unconditional love in the war. So, there's two sides to every coin. It's all love, it's all self, it's all you. You were Hitler. You were Hitler. That's it. You were the angel, you were Hitler, you were the king, you were the pauper, you were the mouse, you were the president, you were the terrorist, you were the bomber, you were all of it. Okay, so the question that comes up often is in life reviews, what gets discussed? You get to see the opportunities, how you could have chosen again. But it's at the level that you're ready. So when you're aware of non-duality, I could have chosen to be more loving, be less judging, because I'm only judging myself, be more accepting, be more authentic, try to be less spiritual, and just be honest. Okay, next time I go down, road cowboy, Africa, Portuguese, temperament, learn all those skills, get really angry, make millions, and then say, fuck it, and go and teach. You don't really want to teach, but okay, here we are. We're sharing this. This is joyful. Truth is joyful. Someone wrote that on YouTube for me. The truth is joyful. Yes, it is. Amen. Okay, so who reviews it? Highest fractures of ourselves are reviewing ourselves. The Akashic records, and can we access it? What do you want to access history for? Be here now. No one can access the future. It's not happened yet. And like I say, if enough of us awoke to present moment awareness right now, recognized the essence of all of us, our soul is identical. It's a shared self, soul, shared self. We would just immediately rush out and share everything with everyone. And no one would be starving or poor, and everybody would have abundance. And this whole world would go feather silence, and there would be no need for a planet. Okay. Why can we not remember the spirit world? Well, because if you did, you wouldn't take this current life seriously. You wouldn't focus on, I choose to see another way. You wouldn't look for a way to get out of the dream completely. You would just try and make your current life as happy as possible and be trying to plan your next spiritual incarnation, because no one's ever happy with their current life. No one. I haven't met a single person who's dreaming that thinks they're perfect. I've met some billionaires, some incredibly good-looking international actors and actresses, and they're all miserable. All of them, a lot of them. And they pretend to be nice, especially the actors. They pretend to be okay. But when you get them one-on-one and they've had a few whiskeys, they're sitting around the campfire in Africa on a safari, even Thor says, I fucking hate my life. Okay. My wife is this and my friend is that, and I wish this. Everybody, even Zeus, will complain. Okay. And then do are people actually tapping into the spirit world when they have NDEs? And does anyone ever tap into the right mind when they have a near-death experience? So anyone that's having a near-death experience is projecting from the spirit world. Remember, so near-death is you're not going anywhere. You're projecting. So when you hear in form, your body dies, you're not going anywhere. You're still in the first dream projecting a second dream. And so when you seem to die here and your body seems to be put aside, you tap into the facts of the dream, but not the truth of absolute reality. If you were to get a glimpse, a glimpse, a tiny moment, a holy instant of true reality to be over for you, this world would lose all its value. And the joyous lightness of being would flow through you, and you'd want for nothing in this world. And I mean it. You want for nothing in this world. But now you're still in appearance. What do? You chop wood, you fetch water, even if it means driving through the traffic. You come home and you feed the kittens. You don't want to shag, marry, kill anything. You have no desire for adventure. You don't need to go anywhere. Why would anyone want to go there when they're already at peace in heaven within them? And you realize, I'm here. What do I now do? And now you choose to extend yourself. What does that mean? Offer yourself passionately to the rest of your fractured selves. What does that mean? I serve. So am I going to become a spiritual teacher? Is Luigi going to become a full-time Guruji, Luji Poo, sitting in some ashram going, Om, please come and satsang with me, no more stay? Hell, fuck, no. Absolutely not. I can't imagine anything worse. And then they all wear robes and sandals. You'll never, ever find me in sandals. It's boots or fuck all. Okay? It's either a jacket or it's naked. It's either or. I ain't gonna sit and listen to spiritual people and put my hands on them and let them touch my feet and worship. Near fuck near. Near. Okay? I like my life. I like playing. I'm aware. I don't have to be in a monastery and om all day long. I can go, I can build, I can get excited, I can have ice cream and cigarette. I can have an ice cream while smoking a cigarette and drink a Jack Daniels while riding a motorcycle, all at the same time. It's amazing. And I'm aware I've never left God's kingdom. What else you want? Let's take a break. And now we move into one of my most fun sections, and I get asked this a lot. Now, some of you may or may not know, those of you that have known me, that I've been teaching for a variety of different modalities to do with spirituality over the last 30 years. So there was a stage where I would do talks on angels and on the spirit world, and and there was a time where it seemed like I was channeling. It like this voice, this essence took over. Now, of course, I know it's just my right mind was taking over. Wasn't quite certain what that was, and I ascribed it to a higher being. But I would do a talk on how to manifest the perfect love, the love relationship in your life, and man, that hall would fill up. I mean, I used to fill up halls with 2,500 people 3 nights in a row. And then I would do a talk on angels. And man, that would just bring thousands of them. And they just loved it. And they used to say when I spoke, they could see the lights appearing behind me. And I thought, fuck, are they talking about? But okay. And, little kids would come up and want to hug me. And it was always entertaining. And, my girlfriend at the time used to get very jealous because, man, they used to throw spiritual panties at me. And so I'm going to now answer some of the questions that the spiritual bliss bunny brigade loves. And I'm just going to bring it through non-dual, total clarity. And it's so simple. And you recognize it in its simplicity and its non-duality. And so I'll start off with, the section on spirits, spirit guides, and angels, ... and demons too. So what is an angel? In essence, you are. The Holy Son of God is the extension of God, therefore the message of God ever extending. In the dream, an angel is, remember, it's one self, one splits into the two, into the six from both spheres. Each sphere splits into six, so there's 12. Those 12 are the highest phyla of the angel. 1,726, next level. Next level, 5.2 million. These are the angelic realms. These are now keep fracturing, but parts of ourselves stay at that higher level of awareness. At the highest realm, those 12 ascended masters, the next angel phyla. And I explain the different levels of angels and their roles in my book, so I don't want to go into that. You can read it, and St. Thomas of Aquinas wrote that too. And funny enough, I hadn't read any of Aquinas's work when I was doing before I did my regression work. So when this stuff was coming through, it was all new. And then I found Aquinas and I realized, Wow, these are complete beautiful parallels. So angels are messengers. So anyone sharing a message of the right-minded divine is an angel. But from a spiritual point of view, they are the helpers in the spirit world, parts of ourselves that have ascended into a higher non-dual awareness. They're almost pure love. If they were complete love, they would disappear out of the dreaming mind and return to Christ-mindedness. So they haven't fully realized self, but in their realization that there's only one step more to go, realizing that the rest of their fractures are still asleep, they remain in the spirit world, calling us all to return to higher self. So angels are higher aspects of self. Okay. Do they have wings? No. Where are they going to fly? It's just thought, instant. But they're energy fields. And so those that are seeing beyond the veil of forgetfulness into the dream world, into the spirit world, stream one, these energies seem like wings. There's no feathers, nothing to pluck. Okay. So how many types of angels are there? There's 7 different phyla of angels. And then we can even go into the categories of those that are incarnating, those that arc across the arcs. And we talk of star children, and these are just levels and stories of facts in the dream, but they're not absolute reality. Has any angel fallen, become evil? Absolutely not. And then the story of Lucifer. Lucif, light, came to earth. So who's Lucifer? Lucifer is the thought form that projected the earth and then took form on this earth. There's a certain type of angelic energy that creates all the animals throughout the universe. They all come from one angelic being, one thought form. It's created the myriads of animals, created the dinosaurs. And what the dinosaurs are now, they're little fox terriers today. Same energy, just smaller. Sharp teeth too, short arms. Same thing. So those energies from that angelic energy, angel, are the animals throughout the spirit world and the physical worlds. It's just energy. Also, be aware of this. So when you incarnate and you choose a pet, you've already scripted it. So very often your pet is that angelic energy mixed with some of your energy, and that becomes your dog, your cat. And very often your cats and dogs incarnate back into this holographic universe sphere, the earth. Okay, so has an angel fallen, become evil? Absolutely not. The idea of fallen angel comes from Dante's Inferno. And the Catholic Church loved that shit because they realized, oh, people got scared of a devil, and now we're coming to church to pray for, forgiveness. And that's when they made their real money. So they milked the devil. And so are demons real? No. What about negative thought form? Well, the world's filled with negative thought forms. The demons are the negative thought forms running around on this planet. But are there demons in heaven and the good angels fighting with the bad? No. There's no war in heaven. There's a war in our dreaming mind between right and wrong. And remember, in the dreaming mind, even the dreaming mind is split into two, the dark part and the light part. They seem to be fighting with each other. But what are they fighting for? They're trying to reflect what's right and wrong. This whole story that the church loves that war in heaven. Choose a side and don't forget to give your 10% tithing. It's all storytelling. There's no such thing as a war in heaven. And there's not even a war in our secret dreaming mind. The war is with ourselves, trying to remember what we are. So are demons real? Absolutely not. Yeah, and people see demons and I got attacked in my bed by an entity. That's a story you tell yourself, especially when you're stuck in the 5th level of the development of trust. You feel you're getting attacked. It's your attack thoughts coming straight back at you. And when your attack thoughts start to become aware that you've never existed at all, your imminent death of your illusionary fractured self, it puts up every resistant thought it can imagine, and especially the ones that you bought into as a child. And then now these things are attacking you, but it's you attacking you. Holy Son of God, return to the right-minded station. Listen only to the silent stillness, which is the truth, which is the voice for God, which is the holy memory, which is in truth your present moment awareness of what you are. So what's a ghost? A ghost is an imprint. It's like, imagine, have you sat on a chair and you get up and you walk away and someone else sits on the chair? There's a heat on the chair. Is there a ghost on the chair? No, it's just a body imprint. So some people see ghosts. It's because they're vibrating at a higher frequency of awareness in the dream. And so memories of old remnants of their fractured selves are seen as ghosts. That's why some people see ghosts and others don't. In the same room, or did you see that? No, what are you talking about? There was a ghost. Oh, I don't see anything. It's because some are resonating and picking up on fractures of themselves. In essence, people ask me, do you see dead people? Absolutely. Every time I go to the post office, they're behind that thick glass. Dead people. Okay. Do we all have spirit guides? Now, we're in the spirit world, we've got soul families, and so some of those spirit beings in the spirit world know us well. And so we enter into agreements. I'm going to come down and you're going to be guiding me. And you're going to be talking to me. Now, we can hear those voices as a third voice in your head. So if you're hearing the voice, I should do this and I should do that, it's direct spirit communicating with self. If you're hearing that voice, we should do this and we should do that, it's your spirit guides talking. The we is spirit guides. And what are spirit guides? Fractured parts of yourself, either at similar levels or higher levels, communicating with you. Children have spirit guides, often hundreds of them. Okay, the whole family's watching over them. Now, remember what I've told you. Dinner table, gone to the bathroom for 15 minutes. If you're a 5-year-old kid, mommy goes with you to the bathroom because you haven't learned to undo your zip. If you're a 16-year-old kid and your mother's going to the bathroom with you, there's a problem. Okay, so at higher levels of conscious awareness, remember consciousness, dream, the realm of the dreaming mind, awareness, right-mindedness, consciously aware, bridge consciousness. As you start to ascend, mature, advanced soul, okay, you no longer need someone holding your hand. You no longer need a guide. Maybe you need the ascended master talking to you, the Jesus type memory character in your dreaming mind talking to you. At some stage, when you start getting to the recognition of self, I and my Father are one, direct communication, present moment awareness with self and God, you don't need spirit guides. And then people want to learn how to speak to their spirit guides. Speak directly to God, transcend the spirit guide, transcend the angel, transcend the dream character, return to being the light. But that's what people are most afraid of, because they want to return to the spirit world and then come back here and then complain miserable in spirit world and then come complain again. And why do we come back? Coffee, cigarettes, sex, motorcycles, whatever. It's not that exciting in the spirit world. This taste is not that pleasurable in the spirit world. There's no joy of motion. There's no zoom zoom. There's no star tracking across the universe. Only going forward because you can't find reverse. It's not exciting. So we keep coming back. Adventure, and then ups and downs, ups and downs. Eventually we go, enough of this shit. There must be a better way. Direct path. Okay. So we do all our spirit guides. Well, yes, if you're still a baby and you need mommy to undo your zip. But when you're 16 and older, you don't need one anymore. Can spirit guides and angels assist us during lifetimes? Yeah, of course. When you're a lower level awareness, they do. They're constantly talking to you. Do you listen? Fuck no, you don't. You don't. All the shit that happened in your life, you're not listening to self. You're not listening to your guides. You're not listening to anyone because you think you know better. You know you shouldn't go. The intuition is your spirit guide. Intuition is yourself. It's your memory, present moment awareness saying, no, 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 no. I'm going to do it anyway. Oh, I want to struggle. Path of least resistance is the only way, but you won't believe that when you're 16. Okay, so what's an ascended master? I get asked that often. An ascended master is fractures of ourself that has ascended to such a level where there's no more dual. You're still in the dream world. You're still in the dreaming, secret dream, but you're now aware of the sphere. You're aware of the present moment awareness. There's more. These are all fractures of yourself, and realizing that these are all fractures of yourself, you realize the two spheres you fractured from, and that beyond that is oneness. And so the ascended masters are those in the dream that in these lifetimes have transcended duality, transcended separation, the recognition of our shared self, and now abide in the dream to communicate to the rest of our fractured selves to transcend to right-mindedness. That's it. That's what an ascended master is. Do ascended masters incarnate? No. Then they would be descended masters. Ascended masters have done within the incarnation. Do ascended masters channel to those on this earth? Very often, yes. And how do they do that? Because you're a fracture of that ascended master. They're fractured parts of one indivisible self. So that's communicating with itself, calling its still asleep parts to awaken. Be wary of those channels, those that start to beady beady beep and gook 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 and change their voice. And you'll realize if you really look at those channels, most of them are fake. What they're really doing is they've read the books, but they don't have the courage to speak up, and they're not really ready to speak up the truth. So what they'll do is I'm channeling it because they can't take ownership of non-duality. Then another question that I get asked, especially by those that are still trapped in duality, is can another spirit being enter and occupy my body? No, no, because you spirit projecting into form. How's another spirit going to enter into your projection? Not possible. What's a walk-in? That's another question. Demonic possession and walk-in. That's not possible. It's just a stupid concept. It's a stupid concept. Now, I've been in the experience where a person has multiple personalities, and one minute they Vanessa, and the next minute they Deirdre. Um, Multiple personalities, and ego is trying to hook in and trying to overcome its fear. That's all it is. It's all psychosis. Look, the whole dream's a psychosis. Every single one, even the most natural, normal looking person in this world is a psychosis and a narcissistic psychosis. The dream is a narcissist, and every fracture of the dream is a narcissist. What else do you want to know? And then one of my favorite fun ones is, do animals have souls? No, they're beyond needing soul. It's just pure spirit, pure energy at the level of the angelic energy. And it's just pure unconditional love. But they still have instinct, which is why they still bite and hurt each other and eat each other. So, but do they have souls? Soul is present moment awareness. Is an animal present moment awareness? No, an animal is just present. Present. Sentient is present moment awareness. Are animals unconditionally loving? Is a dog unconditionally loving? No, he's unconditionally needing. They're needy. Oh, but they just love you and accept you because you feed them. Stop feeding them and see what happens. And the cat, well, the cat is definitely an ascended master because he doesn't give a shit. But make up your own mind. These are, again, stories we tell ourselves about dream. Go beyond. Okay. And so do animals reincarnate? Yes, they cycle over and over again because it's from the same angelic energy in the secret dream projecting into the world of form. In essence, all of it is one indivisible self. Then communication with the spirit world. Can the spirits of our deceased loved ones communicate with us? Can they hear us? Well, if you go into the bathroom and mommy's saying, hey, are you still there? You can hear her. You know, can your mommy hear you? Yeah, if you shout really loud and learn how to communicate. Be present here now. It's all part of you. So where's the spirit, the energy of your past deceased loved ones? Well, do you realize there's only about 10% of yourself here because the thought, the spirit thought form you are is projecting onto a holographic universe. So you're not actually here while you dream in the spirit world. And you're actually not even in the spirit world because you're actually the awake Christ mind. But while we dream in the spirit world, projecting into a holographic universe, a space-time continuum, but the real you is the projectionist in, well, the real you in the spirit world, in the secret dream. And so it's projecting on here. That's why nothing can enter into it. And so when you're communicating with deceased loved ones, where are you communicating from? Yeah, while your physical body, or from the projection room in the spirit world. You're all sitting around a table playing projectionist games, projecting onto holographic. You're communicating with them all the time. Can they hear you? Of course they can. Can you hear them? No, but why not? Because you're never quiet long enough to hear through the silent stillness, to hear through the veil. Only through the silent stillness do you hear through the veil into the secret dream, and then beyond the veil of the secret dream into absolute reality with God. Okay. So can we learn to hear them? Why do you want to hear fractured parts of yourself? You think they know something you don't know? They're stuck in the spirit world, just as you are while you project here. Direct path, the Lord God of your being. Direct path to your Christ itself. Direct path to God. I and my Father are one. Be here now. Be still and know I am. Extend gratitude. Be present. I am. God is. Love. Wow. What else do you want? What is a psychic medium? It's a short little guy that goes around fucking fairies. It's just a cooked dude. Okay, so what's a psychic medium? It's a person that's come through without a deep, deep veil between secret dream 1 and projected dream 2. So there's different types of psychic mediums. So we can split it up into clairvoyance, blah, 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 blah. You know, a psychic medium is just someone that's tapping into the psyche, spirit, memory, memory of the secret dream. But if psychic mediums were to go present, extend love, they would tap into right mind. So the challenge for the psychic medium is to forget the secret dream and go beyond to the true self. I got stuck in the secret dream, trying to make sense of the secret dream. Hence, I'm giving you all these questions because I devoted 30 years of my life to figuring it out. 3,000 past life regressions, life between life, everybody telling me exactly the same thing, making notes, documenting it in sequence. Hence, I speak with such conviction because 3,000 people sleeping under regression told me exactly the same thing. You know, what's a clairvoyant? Can they see the future? Again, it's a form of psychic, and they're just tapping into glimpses of one indivisible cell's potential script. Can they see the future? Future simple. The dream ends. Poof, feather silence, pure light. The return to God. The recognition we've never left the kingdom. What do you want to? You want to know what's going to happen next year? Are you going to meet the perfect person? So it's like praying to God and asking Him to fix your dream. Do you want to fix your dream? No, you want to end your dream. You want to be aware of being. Being aware of being aware is being aware of your shared beingness with the Lord God of your being, with the joyous lightness of being. You know, and what is a channel? A channel is a cooked person. They completely, I mean, channels are just fucking cooked. 99.999% of channels are just fucking cooked cowards. That they don't have the conviction to say, I've read this, that, and the other, makes sense, and let me just share it with you as myself. They don't believe in themselves, so now they're channeling. Oh, I'm channeling Zork and Zook. And if you go and look at their library, they are channeling exactly what they've read. Now they say some ascended what is now channeling through them from the voice from the beyonder. And then you get those that think it's Jesus channeling. Bullshit. Okay. It's not Jesus. Those that are channeling the truth is Christ mind direct. It's so simple. It's so obvious. Or do you think Jesus is a character in the dream world? Now talking to us. Is Jesus one of the ascended masters in the spirit world? Okay, so if we is, then he isn't Christ. There's an ascended master still in the dream, is still in the secret dream. A Christ is now our right mind, joined with our right mind, talking directly to us. Present moment awareness, Holy Spirit. The memory of God, present. Okay. So who are they channeling? They're channeling different levels of the dream mind and different ethereal entity bodies. And though they tell you the future, they all tell you the same shit. The world's coming to end. How long have people been saying the world comes to an end? Oh, we're rising in consciousness now. We're going through a shift. We've been going through a shift for 16 billion years. Those that are accelerating in awareness, they feel the shift. Now that we're on YouTube and Zoom and social media and everybody's got a cell phone, we all now want to be spiritual. Most of it is just egoic acting of spirituality as a new identity. What are they channeling? If you get to the very core, what are we all channeling? We are all channels. We're either channeling wrong-minded radio, like wrong mind, ego mind. You're a sinner, you're guilty, you try to kill God. It's because you were unworthy. You're a piece of shit. You're guilty. You're going to be punished. You're going to suffer eternal damnation. That's what they're channeling. In a myriad, 8 billion stories. Right-minded channel. What is a channel? Ice cream. Ice cream. Silence. Vanilla flavored ice cream. Perfect sound of silence. Silent stillness. I am. God is. One. Indivisible self. I am. God is. Silent stillness. And when you get accustomed to it, you chop wood. I am. You fetch water. I am. You feed the kittens. I am. Nothing changes. I am. Everyone's a channel. You need to learn to channel. No, you need to learn to be quiet. Okay. Sounds rude. Be quiet. My favorite teacher, Papa G. Be quiet. He used to laugh. He'd come all the way from America, Australia, Africa, to India, to the guru. He'd come there and he'd go, you should have listened to Jesus. Be still and know I am. You've come all the way to listen to me. Be quiet. What is be quiet? Just be still. Be still. Quiet. Thoughts come. To whom do these thoughts appear? Direct inquiry. We're going to tell you a story. No thanks. Or what about no thanks? But no thanks. But what about no thanks? Silence. Memories coming up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I forgive you, which means thank you. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude for showing me a new way. Thank you for A Course in Miracles. Show me a new way. Thank you for Christ Mind. For talking as if you were Jesus to Helen Schuchman and then the Blue Book and the Foundation and the Circle of Madness and the Foundation for Inner Cookedness. And now we have, thank goodness. It's cool. Wonderful. Grateful for all of it. Grateful for all of it. And now I am. God is. Gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Be that knowingly. Hope this helps. Hope this brought clarity. Everything I've told you is a fact of illusion. Fact of the dream one, spirit world, secret dream, the veil, project into forgetfulness, physicality. We're here in physicality, duality, to recognize what we are through the experience of what we're not. What am I? Reverse the question. I am. I am what? I am. God is. I am. Accept what is. Offer no resistance. Path of least resistance. Be still. Offer gratitude. Forgiveness is what? The recognition this never happened. I dreamt it all up. I'm responsible for all of it. But now that I embrace all of it, I love all of it. For all of it's me. I offer it gratitude. I offer it love, for it's all me. It's all me. I'm grateful for a terrible youth, terrible path, terrible pain, terrible suffering, terrible what. I'm so grateful because it was the suffering, which is really God's will at play, that brings me to say there must be another way. I choose peace instead of this. I could see peace instead of that. I'm not a body. I'm free. I'm still as God created me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I am. I share myself with myself. This is all me. This is all beautiful. That is the face of Christ, the being, the knowing of being, the recognition of our shared being. God is the love with which we love. It's so logical. It's so simple. And if a rogue cowboy in Africa can do it, you can too. No more stay.